Good morning. Welcome to Daylight with Dean. So grateful to be here. You know, it was interesting. I just got to tell you how much I appreciate all your prayers. Got over 750 views yesterday on Daylight, and you guys just prayed and brought the house down. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was funny when I was getting ready in the prep room where they take all your stats and ask all your questions, and they must have asked me my birthday 25 times yesterday. This lady came and said, and she named a very good friend of ours, and she said she wanted to let you know that you're in good hands today, and she wanted to say hello to you. And she was working in the operating room, not my operating room, but it was just a neat thing to hear a message from a friend who was at the hospital. That was a nice surprise. Before I go too far, coffee after 48 hours, it's got to be good. Nice, thank you. A couple funny things took place with all of this. I think you'll be amused by. I'm going to try not to laugh. So, if you have not watched Sunday's sermon, you probably won't get this. If you have watched Sunday's sermon on the River New Ken Facebook or the River New Ken YouTube page, or even on my page, I do a watch party on Sunday the 24th. I think there's a chance you'll enjoy this. So I preached the first part of my message Sunday in my red Viking brand dry suit. It's for ice water diving, cold water diving, and it's a dry suit that I used to use when I would dive for golf balls 22 years ago, up until the lakes freeze, and as soon as they thawed, I would be back in the water scuba diving for golf balls, getting golf balls out of the ponds and lakes that they're hit into on golf courses. And I have a fish pond in my backyard that hasn't been cleaned out in 2 years. So it has a monstrous amount of sticks and leaves in it. And I was preaching on Psalm 40, verses 1 through 3, where David talks about how he waited patiently for the Lord, and the Lord turned and heard his cry. He lifted him out of the miry pit, out of the mud and the mire. He placed his feet on solid rock and placed his feet upon the rock and gave him a solid place to stand. And I will sing, and he put a new song in my heart. Many will see and fear, and many will believe in the Lord. It's one of my 3 favorite verses in Scripture. U2 put that psalm to song nearly 40 years ago in just simply a song called 40. And it's really, really cool. Anyways, I decided to preach my sermon and start out scuba diving in that muddy, leafy, putrid, scum-filled, leaf-infested, awful pit. And so I got in it, had my scuba gear on, crawled around, came up, wiped my face off, and then started preaching. While in the pit, there was a big clump of leaves right on my shirt. It was so funny to see. So anyways, it was a very visceral experience of being in a pit, preaching about how God lifts you out of a pit. And then halfway through the sermon, I wanted a visceral sense of God lifting us out of the pit. And I preached from another vantage point, but if you haven't seen it, I'll let you watch it to catch that. So anyways, I say all that to say My wife dropped me off at Forbes Hospital for the surgery yesterday, and then she said she's going to go to Target. And she went to Target Monroeville. Then when she picked me up after it was all over, about close to 4 o'clock, we're in the car, and she said, I got something for you. And I'm like, okay, what could it be? My wife bought me this scuba dude as a pillow that I could hold against my stomach if I need some extra support to cough or anything like that. I started laughing. I mean, I just love it. First of all, he's wearing orange, which is just about the same color of my red of my dry suit. But I started laughing because it was just so unexpected. And I love it. I've been cuddled up with it. It'll be sitting on my arm when I'm sitting on the recliner. And Leslie would be like, that looks really goofy sitting there. And I said, I know, but I love it. Sorry about that. If I have to turn my man card in, I will. But it brought me great joy. Secondly, the other funny thing that happened was when I met with the doctor 2 weeks ago, the surgeon, and I talked to him. He said, do you have any questions? And I said, well, I have one. It's kind of a silly question, but my whole life I've had a belly button that I've really liked. It's an innie, and I've liked it. And then I got this umbilical hernia, and it protruded out, and it's now an outie. So I assume when you put everything back as it's supposed to be, that I won't have an outie, but you're going in through my belly button, and certain things will be different. Could you just make sure I have a nice innie belly button? And he looked at me like, that's what you're worried about. He's like, well, we don't really do cosmetic surgery. I said, well, I understand. I'm just saying, if you have a chance. So after my surgery, lifted up my shirt, I have a fantastic innie belly button. It goes in. I'm so excited. A pastor friend of mine was texting, asking me how I was doing. And this pastor friend of mine and I cut up all the time. And he made some kind of insulting comment, joking around with me. And so I sent him a photograph. He's like, I am not a navel gazer or inspector. He said, but don't worry, I'm not going to post it on Facebook or send it to you guys. But that was so funny to me. My throat's dry. I need another coffee. So my plan is to rest. I got home last night, and my wife and son waited on me hand and foot without complaint. It was spectacular. Agreeable to anything I needed or wanted. I loved it. So it will not be hard for me to rest. I will gladly do it. You asked me how I feel. When I was waking up, always coming out of the anesthesia, the 3 times that's been done, I've just struggled. And I was coming out, and I kept trying to wipe my eyes, and the nurses were like, don't wipe your eyes, don't wipe your eyes, don't wipe your eyes. And I would swing my head back and forth because I was so fuzzy, and I think I concerned them a little bit, or if nothing less, I ticked them off because they were just annoyed at me. I don't know. I think recovery nurses have that gift. She wanted to stick a pill in my mouth, and she goes, just take this pain pill. I said, ma'am, I don't really want to take a pain pill. And she really was insisting on giving me this pain pill. And I looked at her. I said, ma'am, if there is any way possible that I don't have to take that pain pill, please don't give me my pain pill. I have a very high tolerance of pain. I don't like pain medication, and I don't want the pain pill. And she took it away and said, okay. And I'm not sure I was that articulate because I was still kind of out of it. But that's what was going through my mind, that I was trying to say it that way. So haven't had any pain medicine since I came out of the anesthesia. And to best describe it, do you ever put on a pair of tennis shoes and you tie the laces too tight and you didn't mean to, but you did, but they weren't tight enough to redo it, so you just kind of left them tight, and then the more you walked, they kind of loosened up and shifted and got a little bit looser? Well, that's what kind of feels like inside, right around my belly button. They went in arthroscopically and sutured up my muscles where it had separated, and then put some mesh in to hold everything in place. And when I stand up, it just feels like my shoelaces are too tight. And then, I just take a few steps and things start to feel a little more comfortable. Well, comfortable would be a stretch, I have to tell you. Things feel a little better. But right before daylight, I walked up 13 stairs, going upstairs to wake both Alex and Abby up, and successfully came back down and was no worse for the wear. So I'm looking forward to full recovery. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me share this moment with you. I kind of share this story with you. Two funny things that happened yesterday that just brought me humor and joy. And I hope that your day today is filled with good things. Now I want to give you a little hint. It's not good to compare yourself to other people, but sometimes it's helpful. So I say that if you're having a bad day, all you have to think, well, at least I'm not Pastor Dean and had hernia surgery yesterday. And you say that enough throughout the day, you'll be amazed at what a great day you have. All right, guys. Thanks. I love you and appreciate our time together now. I'm going to sheepishly go turn my camera off.